Okay, hello everyone and welcome. What's everyone doing? How are ya? Phil here, live on the stream. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully you're doing well. Today is Wednesday, June 28th, 2017. I have a lot to talk about on pre-stream, a lot of ground to cover, so let's get started. First of all, welcome to all of you who are here for the continuation of Danganronpa 2. And I have to wholeheartedly apologize that obviously this was something I was planning to do in balance with all my other playthroughs over the past week. It did not happen that way because of my throat. As you know, my throat swelled up and ended up being really bad this past week. It's still not back to normal. It's still pretty not really raspy, but hoarse, I would say. You know, it doesn't help that my allergies are still affecting me. They're not as bad as they were last week, that's for sure. I would say last week they were at their absolute heightened peakedness of annoyingness, okay? Now they're a little better, but still, you know, I know for a fact that doing a stream like this where I'll be talking for 3.5 to 4 hours straight with no interruption is going to be a major pain in the ass, alright? So, ladies and gentlemen, here's how today's going to work, alright? We're going to be doing Danganronpa 2. Now, this is only my second session of the game, so I don't know how long, you know, we're going to get into the game, how far we're going to get. I don't know how the game is broken up this time around. We'll see how far we get. From what I'm to understand, the good news is you can pretty much save at any point you want, even if you're stuck inside of a story segment. The game does allow you to save pretty frequently. So that's a good thing. It's not like we'll be in the middle of a segment and now I have to keep playing for 5 more hours to get through it. Apparently, I should be able to just save and not have a problem, so that's good. Now, the problem is my voice going to hold out? I don't know. It's going to be a ton of reading. And if my voice starts to get worn out and get hoarse, it is what it is, you know. I have many things here. I've got water. I've got my VA energy drink I'm drinking right now and trying to, you know, finish it before we get started. I've got lozenges. I've got both menthol and non-menthol lozenges, so I can alternate between them if I need to. And also, if I need to, I can head downstairs and make a fresh cup of tea, obviously with lemon and stuff like that, and that would help as well, right? I think I might have lemon juice from like cooking something months ago that I might be able to put into the tea too, but I don't know if I have it. I had it at one point, but that was months ago, so I don't know if I still have it or not. So, I'm gonna do my best. Alright, I'm gonna do my best. And, you know, try to hold out, and hopefully everyone enjoys the stream. Alright, however, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a lot different than a normal gameplay stream. If you weren't here for the premiere last week, you probably won't understand, so let me explain. Danganronpa 2 is 100% story. There's really nothing else to it. The gameplay elements of the game are pretty much filler to have an excuse to say that it's a video game. It really is, by all accounts, a visual novel, meaning you're watching a story unfold, okay? That being said, it's so much reading and it's so much plot that it's very, very, very easy to spoil the game. Alright, so I'm laying down the law right now. Once the game starts, okay? Once the game starts, or once, I should say this again, once the stream starts, alright? I will be closing stream chat. I will not be interacting with the stream chat, okay? And there will be no pop-up messages during this playthrough, alright? I'm doing this on purpose because you know exactly what would happen if I did the opposite. You'd have people coming in here, trying to do cheers, and spoiling the game for everyone. Imagine on-screen notifications of critical plot points being spoiled. Realize how bad that could be. So that being said, I don't want that to happen. That would be awful. Now, I will say this up front, because I really do feel strongly about this. If you are like me, and you're playing this game, or you're watching someone play this game for the first time, and you don't want to be spoiled on story, I strongly recommend you watch this on YouTube, alright? I actually don't recommend you watch the live streams of this game. Because more often than not, you're probably going to have some dickhead coming into the stream chat, trying to spoil it for everyone, and put spoilers in the stream chat, alright? It's just going to happen. You have to understand that. It's going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I fully expect that every single time that I play this game, there will be massive spoilers, alright? It's pretty much unavoidable. Alright? It is. There's not much you could do. There's always going to be people who want to spoil shit for everyone. I mean, this goes back to the beginning of me playing games on YouTube. People in the YouTube comments would leave spoilers. It just is. People always want to be negative dicks and try to ruin stuff for people. So, I strongly recommend, if you don't want to be spoiled, do not watch the live streams, because chances are you will be spoiled in the stream chat. Instead, I recommend you watch the videos on YouTube and you don't check the comments. Just watch the videos, alright? Now, on the flip side of that, if you're here just to hang out, if you're here to have fun, if you want to interact with people in the stream chat, maybe you've already played this game before or seen a playthrough, you know the plot, and you're just here to either, number one, see my reactions to everything in the game, or number two, to just hang out because you like me and you like the atmosphere of my streams and everything like that, then that's cool. Alright, that's awesome, and welcome. And I hope you have a good time. And I hope that you find it entertaining enough. You know, my Danganronpa 1 playthrough, obviously, people found it very entertaining. Because then they went ahead and nominated that I played Danganronpa 2, right? Yes, keep in mind that this is a Patron's Choice playthrough, alright? This was a game that was nominated and then voted on by the patrons for hitting and celebrating the fact that I hit a monthly goal a couple months back, alright? So that's why I'm playing it so close to, you know, after having just played Danganronpa 1 a few months ago. And I did really enjoy Danganronpa 1, don't get me wrong, I thought it was a really good game. So, I certainly hope that everyone will enjoy this playthrough as well. Now, I have a few things that I need to address. Obviously, like I just said, I'm not going to be interacting with stream chat, I'm not going to be having pop-up messages, and I'm not going to be giving thank you shout-outs, okay? So I understand and that probably that's not going to give many people incentive to do things such as cheer or sub to the channel or tip during the course of the stream. I get that, okay? People primarily do that stuff because they want to get that little bit of instant recognition with an on-screen notification or me reacting to it. I get that. I want to say thank you to everyone who will do it regardless. Already I see one person subscribed and one person has been cheering, and I am going to actually give you your recognition before we begin with the gameplay, okay? So thanks to those who have already, and if you do, out of the kindness of your heart, decide to cheer, sub, or tip, I just want to say in advance, thank you very much, because it is the lifeblood of me being able to keep doing this, you know, every day, live streams every day, on-demand videos every day. It's that support that I get, you know, through you guys cheering and subbing and everything. And so, thank you to those who are going to do it regardless. You guys are basically the MVPs of support, right? Regardless of what I'm playing, regardless of what I'm doing, you're not looking for the recognition. You just want to make sure that I can keep doing this. And I really do appreciate that, okay? I really do. So, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. In advance, okay? Now, let's talk about the rest of the schedule for this week, because the bottom line is Danganronpa 2 is the main stream today in order to make up for the fact that I missed out on a lot of Danganronpa 2 streaming this past week. But I need you guys to understand something. This cannot be the primary stream every day. In fact, this will probably be the last day that it's a primary stream unless we have another situation where for some reason I can't play it for an extended period of time, okay? Number one, this game is not going to bring in a lot of attention. It has a good audience of, you know, a dedicated hardcore fan base of people who want to see it, but it's not going to bring in, you know, attention of people who just want to see me play games in general. There's going to be people that are turned off by this style of game, being very Japanese culture-centric. You know, a lot of people would call it a weeb game, and I know that is kind of a derogatory term, but I think it's a term that makes sense to call it that because you understand there's a certain type of person who's a fan of Japanese culture, anime, manga, who would love this game, And people who don't like that stuff absolutely will hate it and think that it's terrible. So, number one, it's a game that's very polarizing, right? Number two, because this is a game that, again, the streams aren't interactive, it kind of throws a monkey wrench into my whole formula of how I can keep the business afloat. So I can't continue to have this be a mainstream. This has to be something like a secondary thing that I'm doing at night as a later stream or something like that, okay? Supplementary to doing a mainstream of a game where we can have the pop-up messages and the shout-outs and all of that so I can get participation going, all right? I hope you understand that, all right? Now, some people will, of course, counter that and say, but Phil, this was a Patron's Choice playthrough, so you raised money on Patreon, and therefore, this playthrough already should be paid for, and you shouldn't have to worry about that. Wrong. That's not reality. That's fantasy. That's some weird fantasy world that people live in. Again, I talked about this a little yesterday. People who think the world is black and white, that things never change, that things are absolute, all right? So allow me to explain and clarify. Not that I'm mad at people who thought that way, because maybe you're just confused. So allow me to clarify. And so that way, all the cards are on the table, all right? So 2 years ago, when I started Patreon funding, I started it because I was seeing a dip in, the performance of my business, basically. I had left Twitch, I had gone to YouTube for streaming, so I was seeing no profitability whatsoever in streaming. Not that I was seeing much profitability on Twitch streaming anyway. And that particular year of 2015, I had a lot of malicious things done against me, false copyright strikes, and things that damaged my YouTube channels indefinitely. They'll never be back to where they were because of the damage that was done. And so what I said was I'd be willing to go out of my way to play certain games that normally I wouldn't, because I knew they wouldn't get mainstream attention. I knew they wouldn't bring in lots of views, as long as I could raise a certain amount of money a month on Patreon to kind of make up for it, all right? Sadly, folks, I hate to tell you this, I talked about this when I filed my taxes earlier this year, is that over the past 2 to 3 years, I've seen a 30% decrease in my income. All right, 1/3 of my income vanished for various reasons, and it's tons of reasons. Yes, some of it has to do with the malicious actions against me. Some of it has to do with just YouTube changes. Some of it has to do with YouTube losing their advertisers. There's a million reasons why, and I'm not going to get into them because that's not the point I'm trying to make. All I'm saying is things have changed since I started with Patreon dramatically. So originally the idea was, let me play a game that's not a mainstream game that won't bring in a lot of attention, and I can do that now because I have the Patreon funding to do it. That's not the case anymore, all right? Now, Patreon has become an essential part of the reason that I can keep doing this and doing the daily live streams and doing the on-demand videos, regardless of the fact that I'm playing other games in celebration of hitting a goal. It's just become a necessary thing to keep things afloat, all right? And so, playing a game like Danganronpa 1 and 2, I love doing it, and I like doing that variety, but you guys have to understand that this is not a game that appeals to a mainstream audience. In fact, you're going to see it's not going to get a lot of attention on YouTube. It's just not, okay? And so I can't keep doing this constantly. So I was actually talking with people in stream chat, and they were like, Phil, why are you playing these kind of games? Because we know they don't bring in attention, and right now it seems like you need as much help as you can get. Why are you doing this? I said, well, very simply because when I do a Patron's Choice event, I do leave it wide open, and I tell people you can nominate any game you want. However, I do kind of give recommendations. The one recommendation I gave this last Patron's Choice, no RPGs. Because at the time I was playing Persona 5, we didn't know all this bullshit with Atlas was going to happen, right? And that the Persona 5 playthrough was going to get screwed up. But I said, no RPGs because it wouldn't make sense. I can't play 2 RPGs at once. It just wouldn't work, okay? So, thankfully, the patrons did adhere to those wishes. And with all RPGs off the table, it ended up being Danganronpa 2 that got nominated. Moving forward, I'll tell you right now, the next time I do a Patron's Choice event, which more than likely, taking a look at how things are going, may end up being near the end of the summer. It'll be like the funding goal, and then people will nominate and vote for like a month or two. So then maybe the playthrough will start in like late November, early December. We'll see, I don't know. But I'm going to basically say, we got to take this kind of game off the table at this point. I mean, the past 2 Patron's Choice playthroughs have been 2 Danganronpa games. The next one cannot be another Danganronpa game, nor do I think it should be a very Japanese-centric game, only because people are burnt out on these. People want to see, a lot of people are mad because they're like, well, why don't the patrons nominate Jack 3? We've wanted to see Phil play this for years. Same thing going on right now with the current Indies Marathon. People scream, well, why didn't the patrons nominate Hotline Miami 2 and Darkest Dungeon, 2 games that Phil already started and we'd really like to see the end of? You know what? When I see comments like that, I'll be honest with everyone. My honest response is this. Well, why didn't you pledge and vote for it or nominate it? Because that's the point of Patron's Choice, is the people who pledge get the power. And I think people take it for granted. They don't understand the amount of power that a small group of people have influencing over what I play and do. The patrons have tremendous power when it comes to nominating and voting and doing all these things. They really do. And people take it for granted and think, oh, it's nothing. You don't realize that for $5, you could nominate a game that could end up being a full playthrough over the summer. You know what I mean? They don't get that. So really, yes, I understand the criticisms. I get it. But at the same time, you very much had the power to step up and nominate stuff and vote on stuff yourself. And if you didn't do it, you know, you have no one to blame but yourself. You know what I mean? That's just how it works. That's the nature of polling. That's the nature of everything. You know, a lot of people say right now, I can't believe we have Donald Trump for president of the United States of America. What a horrible situation, right? How could this be? It's horrible. And they say, yeah, but did you vote? No. Okay, well then why are you complaining? Right? If you didn't vote, it's your own fault. I hate to say that, but it's true. That's just the reality of polling and the reality of a democratic society, right? So, yeah, I am going to be doing Danganronpa 2 as this Patron's Choice playthrough. I will be doing it as secondary sessions and streams over the course of the summer. It's always going to be balanced with whatever I'm doing. So right now, I'm doing Red Dead Redemption, right? And then every once in a while, maybe I'll mix it up. So instead of doing Red Dead Redemption, maybe I'll do a fighting game stream. Or maybe if I do feel like playing Dead by Daylight again, I will. Because honestly, I feel like I've only scratched the surface with that game. I've only played like 2 or 3 of the killers. You know, so maybe I'll go back to that. I don't know. I'm not saying I will. But I'm just saying I have variety there. And then, you know, then once Red Dead Redemption's done, then we've got Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin coming up. And then after that, we're probably going to have a Sonic playthrough in early August, which I'll talk about in just a moment. So we got all this stuff coming up, and Danganronpa 2 will be the one that I balance with all of that. But you got to understand, you know, I do need your support on the other streams. In particular, since we know that Danganronpa 2 is not going to be getting a ton of attention, as much support as you can lend to my other things that I'm doing is greatly appreciated, okay? Fair enough? So I think I've clarified everything now in regards to Danganronpa 2, because there was so much confusion this past week. People were so upset that I wasn't playing it, and they didn't understand. Then some people were upset I was going to play it, and they just wanted me to drop it, which I cannot do. You know, the bottom line is, I'm very appreciative of all the support I receive through many different ways. You know, there's Patreon, there's Teespring, there's the cheering and everything on streams. There's all kinds of ways that people support me. I appreciate that. But, you know, I'm doing my best here to keep everything afloat. I feel that if we can get to the fall, if we can get through this summer, which we know is going to be slow. The summer always is typically slow, right? If we can get through these summer months to the fall, there's such a ginormous amount of giant releases that people are going to want to see that I think it's pretty much a given that we're going to definitely make it through the rest of this year pretty positively gung-ho, getting through all the good games, and then we'll see how things turn out next year, you know. There's a lot of things on my end that I deal with behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. You know, right now, financially, things aren't great. I'm trying to figure shit out. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed, that I can hold on to my friggin' house and be able to have it so that I can raise a ton of equity in it and eventually, you know, do something with that to fix my current situation, which is not a good one. And I don't want to bother you guys with this every day. In fact, I haven't talked about this in a while now. But, you know, these are all concerns of mine. And now when I have a day here when I know my main gameplay stream is going to be a game that you're not going to get on-screen notifications. I'm not going to be doing shout-outs to avoid spoilers. It makes me nervous. So I want to say thank you to everyone who is here and who is considering participating. But again, I will say this. I strongly recommend, if you want to stay away from spoilers, go to YouTube and watch this on YouTube. That's the best way to do it. Okay? Now, tonight, I'll be playing Red Dead Redemption for about 2 hours onto second stream. So I hope you'll come back for that. And that will have the on-screen notification, shout-outs, and all of that. All that will return for that, okay? Tomorrow, I'll be live streaming Ask the King, and that'll be fun. I strongly recommend you post up your questions on the kingofhate.com forums right now if you have not. The more questions I get, the better the show is. And right now, last time I checked, I think I had about 30 questions. Typically, I like to have between 50 to 100 questions for that show. And I know I haven't mentioned it a lot, so it's kind of my fault. So please head over to the forums, post up your questions. And that's going to be a fun stream tomorrow. FYI, that stream starts later than the normal one. That one starts around 2 p.m. Pacific time because it runs for about 2 to 2.5 hours of me just constantly answering your questions. Not asking you questions, excuse me. Answering your questions, all right? And yes, that stream also will have the pop-up notifications, the shout-outs, all that. All right. Tomorrow night will be, I believe, I apologize because I don't remember if I said it's going to be Red Dead Redemption or Danganronpa. I apologize because I don't remember what I said. I think tomorrow night I'm going to do Red Dead Redemption. The reason is because I'm already going to be talking for 2.5 straight hours on Ask the King. And I certainly don't think I'm going to be able to do that and then do another 2 straight hours of freaking, talking. So I think tomorrow will be Ask the King and Red Dead Redemption. And then maybe Friday will be Red Dead Redemption and Danganronpa. And then we'll play it by ear from there. Alright? Fair enough? Does that sound good? Hopefully it does to you. Now the one elephant in the room, let's address it. Crash Bandicoot Trilogy Collection Remaster, whatever the fuck it's called, is coming out on Friday. And people are like, are you going to play it? Are you going to play it? Are you going to play it? Well, first of all, I already played Crash 1 and 2 recently. Past couple of years, I played one each summer, if you remember. And I don't think it would make sense. Actually, I take it back. I think I played them both within a couple months, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't think it would make sense for me to replay 1 and 2 since I just played them. Okay? The game is the same. For those who don't know, these aren't really, it's not really a remake. It's not like they redid the games. It's the same core gameplay and gameplay mechanics. It's just that they tweaked them a tiny bit, and now they have an improved graphical engine so that modern audiences could play this game and not say, ugh, the graphics are terrible. That's pretty much what it is. So for me to replay 1 and 2, it would be like me doing the same stuff I already did. There's really no reason to do that, right? But I never played Crash Bandicoot 3. That is very much true. And I know some people want to see me play it. I'm considering it, but considering I'm in the middle of Red Dead Redemption right now, I don't want to commit to it. What I would say is this. Let's do it this way. Let me play Red Dead and finish Red Dead. Let's see when I finish Red Dead Redemption, okay? If I finish it on the earlier side, then maybe I'll squeeze in Crash Bandicoot 3. I'm assuming it probably wouldn't be more than a few days anyway, okay? And I do want to start Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin before I go on break, which I almost have solidified the dates for everybody now. I've almost got them solidified, all right? So I'll let everyone know what's going on with my this break that's coming up once I have the info. I'm almost there, okay? I'm almost at the point where I can tell you exactly what to expect. It looks like, actually, it's going to be maybe 4 to 5 days of no streaming in mid-July, alright? That doesn't mean no videos. In fact, like I said, what I'm planning on doing is maybe for like 3 days before I go on break, doing double stream days, where I double down on my streams and I play a ridiculous ton of stuff, so I have tons of videos built up in order to upload over the time that I'm off to YouTube. So for YouTubers, for people who are just watching my videos on YouTube, it'll be like I'm not even away, alright? But then when I come, the streaming, they'll be suspending streaming for a while, and then when I come back, I'll be coming back full force, right? Sound good? I think it'll work. And that way it'll give me several days to just kind of... Well, the thing is, I'm planning on doing a lot of stuff during this time period. I'm planning on cleaning up the house. I'm planning on doing a little bit of personal travel around the area. I'm planning on doing a lot of things just for me. Things that'll be off the grid, offline. You won't see tweets about it. You won't see pictures of it on Instagram. It's just for me to unwind and try to get back to a level where I'm healthy, I'm happy, and I'm ready to come back rejuvenated full force and hit the ground running with all the rest of the stuff for the summer and into the, the hardcore gaming season. I need this time. I need it. I've been so freaking overwhelmed with shit recently. So much stress and everything. I need the time away, okay? I think that's how it's going to work. I'll have the dates for you soon, but it is looking very much like mid-July, so I'm figuring if I have like 2 weeks in July to load up, and maybe I'll play Crash 3 if I have time. If not, maybe I'll just start Dark Souls 2 and get as far as I can, and then maybe play it by ear and see when I finish Dark Souls 2, and if I do, then play Crash 3. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm just letting you guys know, no, I'm not playing Crash 3 right away. I have to finish up with the stuff I'm working on now before I start up another playthrough, and I certainly don't want to start a playthrough and then have a bunch of games lingering that I never finish, alright? Fair enough? Okay. Now, very quickly, folks, quick plug segment, and then we will begin. So first off, thank you for being here live. If you are here live, it probably means you either don't care about the plot of the game because you might get spoiled by stream chat, or maybe you've already seen the game and you're just here to enjoy it with me. Either case, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay? There are many ways which you can support my efforts to continue to be able to do this as, daily live streaming and daily videos on demand and keeping it on the air. The first would be Patreon, patreon.com/darksidephil. You've seen it splashed here many minutes that there is an upcoming event. It is the Sonic Gotta Go Fast summer event. If you pledge $5 or more in the next 2 days, because today is the 28th, right? So you got to do it by the end of June. So you basically have 2 to 2.5 days left to do this. If you pledge $5 or more to my Patreon, you'll be getting in on that event where you'll be able to vote on if you want to see me play Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2, or the Shadow the Hedgehog game as a playthrough that will begin in early August and finish up before all the new releases hit in mid-August, okay? So, I certainly hope that you will consider participating. Again, your pledges not only allow me to keep doing this daily, it pays for all the expenses of the games and everything. It helps me out around here, pays the bills of internet and electricity and everything. It's good stuff. And also, you earn personal perks outside of just the monthly event. Like text or verbal thank yous, getting, your questions answered on Ask the King. I mean, incidentally, Ask the King is tomorrow, so a few patrons will be getting their questions answered for sure. For all the details, check it out, patreon.com/darksidephil, and consider you got 2.5 days left to pledge for this month, all right? Thank you to anyone who has, because there has been a significant amount of people who did pledge this month just for this event, and I appreciate that. Number 2 is Teespring, my Teespring store where you can buy some awesome merch, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, all that kind of stuff. I'm very appreciative of those who do, and people say they really like the quality of the stuff, so check it out, alright? I get a pretty decent commission whenever you buy something from Teespring. And then number 3, obviously, which I've already mentioned, live streaming participation such as cheering, subbing, and tipping. As I said, sadly, today I will not be able to give you a thank you shout out due to the nature of the game I'm playing. However, moving forward, any other streams besides a game like Danganronpa 2, you will get the on-screen notifications and the thank you shout-out, alright? Very appreciative of any of those things if you do them. We actually almost hit 250 subs again. I think as this morning we're at 249 again, which is cool. I always fluctuate between like 220 to 260 subs. That's what I've seen the past few months. I'm thinking maybe when we get into the hardcore gaming season and I start attracting more of a viewership from covering the new releases, maybe we'll actually get those numbers boosted a bit. But for now, I'm very appreciative to those of you who do sub. Hope you enjoy all the emotes that you get to use, the crown badges and everything that you get. And just thank you in general to anyone who supports me here on stream with those 3 methods. I appreciate it, okay? So now, without further ado, we will give the thank you shout-outs, and then we will begin with gameplay. So let me get to the thank you shout-outs. Thank you to the following people who participated this morning. Thanks to Big Tone, who subscribed. Thank you, Big Tone. Thanks to Ayazumi, who shared 25 bits and says, I'm pretty new to your Twitch streams, but I want you to know that I love your vids. Keep it up. Thank you, Ayazumi. Then we had a troll cheer that I won't read. Then Ayazumi did another 20-bit cheer and said, my friend Justin is in the Air Force and shipping out to Korea today and will miss your stream. Can you say, what the hell? I don't know if this is something racist or not. I have no idea what this is even a reference to. I have no clue. I'm actually nervous because they want me to say something, but I don't know if I say this, if it's going to be racially offensive. Alright, so how about this? I will preface this by saying this. I have no idea what this means, and I don't know if this is racially offensive at all, and I wholeheartedly upfront apologize if it is, because I don't know what it means. So please understand that I do not mean it in any way as an insult to anyone, but it could just be harmless as well. I have no idea. So I will say this. I will read this. He wants me to read the following statement. Effing normies re. I have no idea what that meant. And again, I apologize. I apologize before and I apologize after. There you go. Sensational Media. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Sensational Media. Dooley gave out a 400-bit cheer. Thank you, Dooley. Wow, before we even started. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Chrisamore did a 15-bit cheer and says, aside from Street Fighter, what is my favorite game? Well, I'd have to go retro, and I'd have to say probably, tie between games such as Final Fantasy 4 and 6, Chrono Trigger, and Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and Super Mario World. Like, those were the era, the Super NES era of games. Those were some of my absolute favorites. There you go. Capitalist Pepe did a 25-bit cheer and says, have I ever seen Neon Evangelion? I think he meant Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think he left out a word there. I saw some of it on Cartoon Network when it used to run at night during Adult Swim, when they used to do anime at night, late at night. I never understood it because I never saw the whole thing and I never saw it in order, so it never made any sense to me. I mean, it could be something interesting to finally watch eventually in order and try to understand it, but I have such a jumbled mess of understanding of that in my head, so I guess I can pretty much say I know what it is, but no, I've never really watched it. Shout out to Big Tone, who did a 50-bit cheer. Said, I think playing Fallout 3 in direct capture and on stream would be a good retro replay. I already did that. You may not be aware, several years ago. This was 2013. Yes, it was... No. Yes, no. Fuck. No, it was either 2013 or 2014. I did a complete replay of Fallout 3 in direct capture and live streamed. And, if I remember correctly, I even did most of the major DLCs, including there was one DLC that I played drunk completely, and I went back and replayed that one in its entirety, okay? So, I'm certainly not going to do that a third time. I already played it twice. I'm not playing it a third time. The great Empathizer did a 10-bit cheer, and he did like a million Kappa faces, and he said, I'm offended. I assume that was in response to me reading the message from the other cheerer person. I still, again, have no idea what he said it meant. So, I apologize again if it was offensive. I have no idea. Crest the Angel did a 435-bit cheer and said, Danganronpa hype, dude. Wow, thank you, Crest. You're now the cheerleader for today's stream, although I'm not going to be able to call out anymore after this to avoid spoilers. So thank you, Crest, for that. I appreciate it. And then Chrisamore did another 10-bit cheer and said, for the record, it's Cry Some More. So his name is actually Cry Some More. And then he said, don't get worried. That thing that I said earlier is a Team Fortress 2 reference. Oh. Well, that's not so bad then. If it really is a Team Fortress 2 reference, then it ain't so bad. I thought it was something like, some inside joke that's a racial slur or something. You're trying to get me to say something that I don't know what I'm saying. Alright. Excuse me. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better because I was nervous. Alright, thank you. So thank you to everyone there. To everyone who subbed, everyone who cheered. I appreciate it. Again, I am very appreciative if you do those things during the stream, but I apologize if I cannot give you a thank you shout out because I can't. That's the bottom line. I just can't. I can't risk having spoilers. And again, warning everyone, if you are watching this on live stream, I strongly recommend, if you've never played Danganronpa 2 before or seen a playthrough and you don't want to be spoiled, I strongly recommend you do not watch this on stream, because I almost guarantee you we will have people coming into the stream chat today spoiling. Undoubtedly this has happened before and it's going to happen again. Okay. And it is what it is. I can't help it. I can't affect it. It sucks when it happens. Alright? It sucks when it happens and people just want to ruin stuff for everyone. You know, it sucks. But that's life, is that people are always out to ruin stuff for others. And, you know, there you go. So, apologies, everyone. Now I think it's time to get started with the Danganronpa 2 playthrough. Here we go.